Hello everyone, Josh first back again bringing you guys some more Elune, and today we're going to be talking about the new world boss. As you can see, I've already done my 2 attempts. I've been playing around with my 3 teams, trying to optimize them as best as I possibly can, and I'm going to share some of my information that I gathered from doing world bosses with all of you, and even give you guys a little bit of a guide to kind of help you along your way and hopefully, make the best world boss teams that you possibly can. So, the first thing that you want to know, there are 3 different bosses. You fight them all at the same time, 1 team on each boss. You have Guardian of Balance, you have Providence Watcher, and Destiny Watcher. Now, the middle boss, when you go into boss fight, world boss fight, it'll be actually the very first boss on the list here at the boss panel, and that'll be the Guardian of Balance. He is the only boss that you can actually lock down, thus making him a very good candidate to be attacked by yours truly, Chloe Van Dam. So we have her set up in our Team 1. I'd highly recommend that everybody puts Chloe in their Team 1 if you have her. I'm sure a lot of you by now probably do. If you don't, try and get her at some point. And if you do, put her in Team number 1. Because the Guardian of Balance, like I said, can be locked down, making Chloe very good there. On top of that, that boss does not like to be hit with physical damage. It wants to be hit by magic damage. Chloe, again, is another unit that does magic damage. There are some other various units that we'll go over that you can run as well. But for the fact that Chloe can lock down and does very high magic damage, she's just one of the most optimal units to run for team number 1 against Guardian of Balance. Because if you run physical damage dealers, they're actually going to be reduced by 50%. Their damage is going to be reduced, rather, by 50%. And that's not going to do you any good if you're trying to get a high score and try to help your fellow comrades of the entire Elune community take down the world bosses. So, not going to work. And Elunes with high magic damage, again, is recommended, like I already said. So, basically, that's why in my Team 1, I have Chloe. Now, a few other options you could run, of course, is Caroline. Caroline does extremely high magic damage, especially with her S2. So, I'm running her. Wei Wei is also a magic damage dealer, and she also provides that amazing S2 and S3, which can give you that attack up and provides you with a little bit of defensive tankiness and HP recovery. And I'm also running Untitled because she is also a magic damage dealer who heals AoE with all 3 of her skills. And the higher that she hits with her S1, the more she's going to heal your whole team. And then, of course, we just got Fahrenheit in there, who's literally only there as a big wall and the occasional S3 if I need for that full protection. Now, keep in mind, Fahrenheit does do physical damage, but he's not there for damage anyway. He's purely there just to help make our first team a little bit more tanky. So that is my team set up for number 1. Now, Providence Watcher, boss number 2. This boss wants you to hit it with a whole bunch of physical effects. And one of the best physical effects out there right now, especially for boss fights, is bleeds. So I'm running 3 units that can do bleeding. I'm running Kunar, I'm running Michelle, and I'm running Mika. All 3 of them have a bleed on her S2. I'm running Panda as well because Panda does physical damage on his S1 because this boss also does not mind getting hit with physical damage. And I'm also running our boy Owen, who I believe has a provoke on his S2 or his S3. So got lots of physical effects right there. I got 3 units that can do bleeding. And I even have Panda there as a secondary tank / healer. So that's going to be good as well. I really would like to put another healer on that team, but I really just don't have one. I don't have a Fabian. I don't have any other healer build up or anything like that as well. So I'm just going to kind of go with that, where I'm running 3 bleeders, 1 sub-tank / healer, and then 1 tank. So that's my game plan for Team 2. So you definitely want to try and get as many bleeds as possible on Team 2, as much magic damage, and Chloe for the stun, paralyze on your Team 1. Now, Team 3, Destiny Watcher. This boss, if we go down here, this boss likes to be hit with nature effects. And one of the best nature effects in a game, obviously, is Blaze. And we're not talking about the kind of blaze that you do in the back parking lot. No, we're talking about Blaze from our girl Revi, from our boy Balder, etc., etc. So you definitely want to try and run one of those 2 or both those 2 if you possibly can, if you have them, or any other kind of unit that has it. Now, a lot of people don't remember this, or maybe they're just not aware, but Gawain Asari has a Blaze on his S2. So we're running Gawain for the Blaze. We are running, even though he's only a 5-star and I don't have him at 6-star yet, we are running Balder for the Blaze as well. And we're running Revy, of course, my only maxed out legendary, for her Blaze too. So I have 3 units that can inflict Blaze. I have 2 healers between Freya and Heavenly, so I have a little bit of protection there for my team. And that's pretty much my setup. So just to quickly recap, Team 1, you want a lot of magic damage and Chloe, or any kind of unit that has a nice lockdown. Team 2, you want a lot of physical damage and physical effects, like bleeding. Team 3, you're not really looking for crazy DPS with your Team 3. You're mostly just looking to inflict Blaze. So that is pretty much the quick guide for all 3 bosses and what kind of team setups you want to make. Now, a lot of people's teams are going to look different from the other depending on who you have built up. Now, there are a few things that are very important to keep note of. You want to set up your skill queues for each of your teams to try and make your teams a little bit more optimal within the fight. You know, you're not just out there trying to go boom, 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 all the damage you possibly can. You want to make sure that your team still can survive and keep chipping away, because I believe you have 300 turns to do damage. So you have plenty of time to inflict a lot of damage, but you don't want to die too quickly by just burst damaging everything down and then everything is dead. And then, you know, you're going to have a lot of turns left that are going to be unused because your teams are down. So be very careful trying to find a balance between skills to use that'll keep you alive and skills to use to inflict damage. You want to find a nice little balance between the two. So you definitely want to utilize skill queues, which I'll show you how to do that in a moment. You also want to make sure that you get potions. We never use potions for like any other content in the game, but this is one of those times where, hey, you know what? Go craft some potions, equip them on your team. It'll help you. Now, all 3 bosses only do physical damage as well, so the higher your physical damage on your units, the better. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Also, right? So that's pretty much it. That's all I have for you guys. And you see, I did a couple runs. I topped out at 3.3 million. A big reason why I can probably not push 4 million yet, sadly, is because I lack a couple things. First, you want to make sure you have your skill gems on every single one of your 15 heroes. That's step number 1. Make sure you do that. That's probably the easiest step that a lot of you will be able to do. If you've been playing for a while, you probably have more than enough gems to at least get every slot filled out for all 15 of your heroes. Step 2, you're going to make sure that all your heroes are at least level 60, because you get a big gap in stats between 5 stars and 6 stars. Unfortunately for me, my Balder is still at 5 stars, so I have to work on that at some point soon. Step 3, make sure that you have skill ups on the core units that you really want to get the most out of. Units such as Chloe, units such as Revy or Balder, or even your Weiwei. So make sure that those units have the skill ups, because those are going to be units, obviously, that you're going to be using in World Boss and other areas of the game. So, you know, unfortunately, we're not going to have enough skill books to go around for all 15 heroes, because that would just be unreasonable at this time. That'll be something that we'll have to work on at, you know, later on as we keep progressing. But definitely make sure you have those on the core units. And then I'd say step 4, make sure you have gear on everybody. Even if the gear is not maxed out or leveled up at all, just get any kind of throw together gear just for the stats alone, just to put on all 15 of your heroes. So make sure you have all of that done before you even try to attempt World Boss. Now, you have several hours for the whole day, every day, to try and go in and fight this boss. So you're not in any kind of rush. You get 2 tries per day. You definitely want to make sure you do your 2 tries. But let's say that you're like a couple hours away from being able to do certain things. Go ahead, take your time, get those things done, and then jump back in and then try again. And again, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. We're going to have a lot of time to keep tweaking our teams and trying to feel what works and what doesn't. So, you know, don't get too aggravated or frustrated if the first couple runs you do, or even the first few days of runs, don't go the way you want them to go, because, you know, this is going to be a feature that's going to stick around for quite a while. And we get 2 runs per day, like I said. So you're going to have plenty of time to go in, tweak your teams, and set that up. But with all that said, all that out of the way, we're going to quickly go ahead and show up how you guys do your skill queues, and then we're going to get out of here. Hope you guys did enjoy the guide. Hopefully it was helpful and insightful and kind of helped you guys along the way on fighting the world bosses. So first you just go click here, go to team. Bottom left, you have a button called skill queue. You want to go ahead and click that. As you can see, I've already set my teams up, and it'll let you click between all 3 of your teams. So it's easier to do this after you've already had all your 3 teams set up. That way you can just quickly go right through here and be done with it. So as you can see, our Fahrenheit, I'm going to set him up to where I got his skill queued for his 3rd skill, his S3, because I would just want him for that protection. I don't want him really for anything else. Chloe, we want to keep making sure that we shut that boss down. We're going to be setting up to just keep going with her S2. Une, S3, we want to keep doing those AoE heals. Caroline, only your S2 is the only thing I really care about. Obviously, I need to skill that up. It's only a level 1 rip, but we'll get there one day. And then, of course, with Wei Wei, I just want to keep spamming her S2. The occasional S3 would be great for the attack buff, obviously, but I really want to make sure that I keep my team alive. And with her and Une together, between her Une's S1, S3, and Chloe's S2, we should hopefully be able to keep the team alive for the most part, which is going to be great. And then, of course, we have Fahrenheit with his occasional S3 that'll help protect us as well. And kind of combo is really good with Wei Wei's S2 anyway. So that's kind of how I have my first team set up. And again, your teams are probably not going to look the same as mine. You might, I mean, some of them may look similar, but they're not going to be the same as mine. So you definitely want to keep playing around with this and see what works. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Just because you see what my skill setups are, they might not work the same for you. So, I mean, it's going to all come down to what works for you, the individual. But this is just giving you a good reference, so keep that in mind. Now, with Owen, we're setting up for his S3. Penguin, we want to do his S3, just AoE heals. That's all we care about with Penguin. He's just a nice off-tank, too, because of his high HP. And then Mika, we want to go S2, bleeds. Kunar, we want to go S2, bleeds. Michelle, S2, bleeds. That's all we want with them 3. All 3 of our DPSs, we want nothing but bleeds. And then Destiny Watcher, we have set up to where we have Revi going S2, because my S2 actually out-damages my S3 for single-target enemies, such as bosses. So I always go with that route. And then we have Heavenly, which I showcased her in a boss fight the other day, which she's just been phenomenal for me. I'm going to be utilizing her S3. Her S2 is also really good as well for the revive. So I was kind of planning going between her S2 and S3, but right now I'm going to set on her S3, and maybe later on I'll go back to the S2. We'll see what happens. Gawanasari, we just want to go with his S2 for the Blaze. Freya, we just want to go S3 for the full-on protection. I'm sorry, with her S2 for the barriers for protection, not her S3. And then with Balder, we want to go S3 as well for the single target damage, because his S2 is more for AoE, so it's going to do less damage. And the fact he's only a 5-star, I need to squeeze as much out of him as I possibly can. And he gets a blaze off on his S1 anyway, so that's perfect. So, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. I think we've went over everything that you need to know going into the World Boss. Again, hopefully it was helpful. If it was, please subscribe. Join us in the Discord in the description below. Keep the conversation going before and after the video as always. And, yeah, don't forget to like the video. Comment below what you guys think. Was it helpful? Let me know. Are you guys running similar strategies? Let me know. Are you guys having fun? Let me know, because I'd be glad to read as many of those as possible. And I will go ahead and actually showcase a world boss fight in my next stream, I believe. So look forward to that. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Until then, as always, peace.